Niccolò Machiavelli is a great thinker who shaped political philosophy. His ideas continue to influence both academics and leaders seeking to remain in power. His most famous work, The Prince, is still read today as a guide to the world of politics. Let's take a look at Machiavelli's strategic thinking through this book. Niccolò Machiavelli was born in Florence on May 3, 1469. Coming from a noble family, Machiavelli received a Latin education at a young age and studied Greek and Latin literature at the University of Florence. In 1494, the French invasion of Florence led to the Medici family being removed from power. Machiavelli grew up under the tutelage of Piero Soderini, the chief administrator during this period. However, when the Medici family regained power in 1512, Machiavelli was exiled and briefly imprisoned. After his release from prison, he left Florence and began working as a farmer. Farming led Machiavelli to literature. He wrote poetry and prose. His most famous work, The Prince, also known as The Ruler, was published after his death in 1514 and made his name known. According to Machiavelli, there is a close connection between moral goodness and legitimate authority in political philosophy. Ideal governance can be achieved by a leader shaped by almost flawless morality. If a ruler wanted to be successful, enjoy a long and peaceful reign, and then pass power on to his family or party leader, traditional moral rules were generally recommended. Machiavelli, however, argues the exact opposite. According to him, there is no moral criterion for evaluating the use of power. Authority and power are one and the same. Those who hold power have the right to direct everything. Being a good person or having virtuous leadership does not guarantee the preservation of power. According to Machiavelli, a ruler's sole purpose is to hold on to and maintain power. The monarch's goal is not to create a just society, but to establish a strong and lasting political structure. Another important characteristic of a leader is selfishness. Because in a selfish society, it is difficult for a non-selfish leader to remain in power. As Machiavelli states in The Art of War, politics is also a form of warfare, and wars are not conducted within the framework of traditional moral codes. If the ruler governing the country acts solely according to morality, the country will eventually be driven to ruin. Therefore, resorting to unethical methods when necessary is inevitable. Nevertheless, the ideal is for the ruler to appear moral to the outside world. Upon assuming the leadership of the state, the priority is stability in building a lasting and strong political structure. When necessary, moral flexibility is one of the fundamental tools for a manager to maintain stability. A good leader should not only consider their reputation, they must be prepared to act ruthlessly at the right time and seize opportunities. A manager should be both loved and respected, but in practice this is rarely possible. According to Machiavelli, it is more effective for a leader to be feared than loved, because a beloved manager struggles to maintain his reign, while a feared leader can continue his management for a long time, thanks to the discipline and punishments he brings with him. For this leader, tyranny and cunning are indispensable tools. When it comes to preserving his authority, deception becomes the most effective weapon, while tyranny is used to eliminate political rivals and suppress resistant groups. Machiavelli explains this with the metaphor of the lion and the fox. The lion is strong and brave, but cannot see traps. The fox is cunning and quick, but lacks physical strength. Therefore, a true leader must possess both the strength of the lion and the cunning of the fox. When establishing his political structure, the ruler should rely solely on his own power and not trust others. That is why Machiavelli states in his book, "He who relies on the trust of men relies on a swamp." According to him, for the continuity of the state, individual morality must be kept separate from the ruler's morality. His work, The Prince, is considered the first book of political realism, going beyond traditional political understanding. Machiavelli foresaw that the common good expected of a leader by classical political philosophy could not be achieved through moral education alone. In short, Machiavellianism is a system of thought that encompasses tyranny, immorality, intrigue, deception, and violence, which can be used as tools when necessary. At the core of these ideas lies human nature, because according to Machiavelli, human nature is inherently selfish and inclined toward malicious behavior. For this reason, his views have been harshly criticized by many philosophers. Although Machiavelli is said to have had repugnant ideas, Machiavellianism is an extraordinary philosophical system that argues that any means are permissible to achieve an end. Seen as the art of tyranny, this approach explains what must be done to maintain the state's existence, and, according to it, the end result is more important than the means itself. In psychology, Machiavellianism refers to a person manipulating, deceiving, and exploiting others for their own benefit. It is the third of three traits known as the dark triad in humans. The other two are psychopathy and narcissism. These traits reveal a person's malicious tendencies. Machiavellianism is the art of being deceitful in order to get ahead. People with these characteristics exhibit the following behaviors: focusing solely on their own ambitions and interests, prioritizing money and power in relationships, striving to appear confident and attractive, manipulating others, using lies and deception as tools, low level of empathy, avoiding emotional attachment at every opportunity, difficulty identifying emotions. Machiavellianism is a personality type commonly seen in both professional and social settings. These individuals are emotionally insensitive, possess a skeptical outlook, and do not value ethical principles. They make decisions prioritizing the achievement of their goals over emotional consequences, and prefer to calculate practical benefits. Lying or betraying others is normal for them, as long as it serves their purposes. Although the philosopher Machiavelli did not achieve great success as a politician, his ideas and realistic perspective immortalized him. Thanks to him, political philosophy has completely changed. Machiavelli was originally a Republican, but the continuity of the state took precedence over any system. For this reason, some describe him as a patriot. Machiavelli said, "If a nation ignores the dishonor, baseness, and thievery of those in power, simply because they share its political views, that nation has lost its virtue. A nation that has lost its virtue will one day lose its homeland." Throughout his life, he seemed unable to achieve the political success he desired. There is no clear information about his life. The only thing known is that he died on June 21st, 1527, at the age of 58. Your favorite quotes from Machiavelli? Write in the comments.